So today we're going to discuss model in place. So again, model in place is used if you don't have a models that inside Revit. So if you want to create your own model, so you can use model in place. So to create a model in place, here in the architecture tab, click this small arrow, then click model in place. So once you click the model in place, there's a dialog box that will pop up which has different categories and parameters. So these categories will help you organize your model in place. So for example, if you want to create a furniture, so you just have to click the furniture category, then click OK. But for now, we can use the generic models. So almost everyone starts in the generic model, and after we can create our generic model, we can actually change its category to furniture. So for now, click generic models, then click OK. Then we can rename this. So for example, model 1, then click OK. So to create your model, uh, these are the tools that will help you to create your model. So, but before that, we're going to discuss the workplane. So, Revit is a plane-based software, meaning that you have to uh, create your plane before you can create your drawing. But here in Revit, the default plane is always in the plan view. So, meaning uh, in this view, this is the default work plane. So, for us to know, so we can just click this show. So, this is the work plane that we are uh, working on. So here in the work plane panel, you can see here the set and the viewer. So if you want to have a new set of work plane to work on, you just have to click this. So for example, you have a box, again, here in the picture. Okay. So in this one, it shows that the default work plane is on the level 1, for example. Then you want to create your model on the roof. So you have to click the set plane and then click the uh, roof so you can work there. So since we don't have a model yet, we cannot set our work plane. So next is the viewer. So the viewer will help you to view your work plane. So sometimes once you create your drawing, you cannot view some of the elements in your drawing. So this viewer will help you to view your overall workplane. So once you click this one, there's a window that will pop up. So usually uh, the default is that uh, your view is too far from your drawing. So what you can do is select this magnifying glass to zoom to fit. So that's the time you can see your drawing. So this is your current workplane. So let's close this one. So next is the datum. So this datum, this will help you to create your drawing. So it will be your guide, your reference, and your basis of your drawing. So we have here the reference line and the reference plane. So what's the difference? So reference line are just lines for your reference. Then reference planes are planes for your reference. So here, since we click the show icon, this is your reference plane. Okay, if you want to create a new reference plane, so let's unclick this one. So you have to click the reference plane or type RP for its shortcut, and then you can create your reference plane. So once you click this hidden line or broken line, you can now rename your workplane. So to rename it, you just click this one, then put the name on the work plane. So for us to see it, so let's go to the south elevation and let's click finish. Then, sorry, Control C. Then let's go back to create, then show. Okay, so let's go back to level 1. Then let us first set our work plane. So pick a plane. So here on the name, if it's thick, once you put a name on your reference plane, it will show up here. So since we didn't put any name on our reference plane, we cannot see it here. So for now, we're going to use the pickup plane. So let's take this one, then click OK. Then we have to select the reference plane that we've created. So we can look it on the south elevation. So we can see here now the reference plane that we've created. So when is the time that you're going to use the reference plane, and when is the time that you're going to use the reference line? So usually in families, you're going to use reference line if, for example, you want to create a moldings. So reference line will help you to create those moldings since it is in linear uh, production, or you have to create in linear. So you can use the reference line. Whereas the reference plane, you can use it if you want to create vertically, horizontally, diagonally. So it will help you to create your model. So that's the time you're going to use your reference plane. So let's not click the finish since we haven't have our model. So let's go to create, then click the show icon. So that's how you set your work plane and to use your reference line and reference plane. So going back to the model in place, so let's go back to level 1 and let's click show, then set our work plane at level 1. So this is now our default work plane, or this is where we can work now with our models. So let's go back to create. So extrusion, it's like the push-pull in SketchUp. But here, once you create a box or rectangle, for example, so here in the option tab, you can see here now the depth, then the offset, and reduce. So on the default depth of extrusion is always at 250. So here, it is considered as depth, but if you look at our south elevation, let's click, it will become a height. So there's nothing problem with that, even if the uh, name is depth, but still we're using the height. Okay, so for us to change the height, so just change here on the option tab the depth, for example 600. So it will automatically change the height of our uh, extrusion. So let's go back to south and then let us show. So let's set our work plane here. So for example, we're going to create a extrusion here again. So let's create a rectangle and click OK. So once we go to the east elevation, so we have now our uh, extrusion element. So meaning, if you want to create a horizontally, you should always set your work plane on this way. So, kailangan palaging, kung saan gagawa, nandun dapat palaging workplane mo. You can actually create a diagonal plane, a reference plane, for example, this one. Okay, and then set this one. Let's go to the floor plan. So once we create a exclusion, and we go back to the east elevation, we have now our uh, model or object. So our model or object follows on the placement of our workplane. So that's how it works. So let's delete this one and this one. Okay, so that's how you will use your exclusion. So next is blend. So let's go back to level 1. So blend is used if your base is different from your top. So for example, our base is pentagon or polygon. Okay, so Control C. So let's set our, always set your workplane. Okay. If you want to create your object, every time you created your object, you have to set your workplane. So for example, polygon. Okay. Then our top will be, for example, rectangle. So we'll go to level 2 and we'll create our rectangle. Then yeah. Sorry. So you have to click edit top to create your top. Then click OK. So once we go to 3D, this is now our blend. So we can actually change the height for us to see. So the base is polygon and our top is rectangular. So again, so let's go back to level 1. So you don't have to click finish unless you're done with your model. So level 1. So create. So sa blend, click blend icon. So currently we're on the base. So for example, circle. So if you want to put your top now, so click the edit top, and then you may go to level 2 if your elevation is at level 2. And then, for example, polygon. Then click finish once we're done. If you want to edit your base, just click this one. So if we go back to our 3D, so this is now our blend. There. So change this to shaded. So that's how blend tool is used. So next is the revolve. So revolve. So you should have an axis here. So let's go back to level 1. Then click the icon revolve. And then create first our, for example, we're going to create let's say a cup. So let's go to the south elevation. And then let's create. Before that, Let's go back to level 1. Uh, Create, then create a reference plane. So let's go back to south, then set. Pick a plane. Go back to level 1. Okay, let's try. Okay, so let's cancel first. Let's pick a plane. Let's go back to level 1. Go to create initial, then set. Okay, so let's create our reference plane. Okay, let's see if we all. Okay, so let's create. So level 1, reference plane. And then create, set, pick a plane. Let's go to the south view. Okay, so that's the time we can create our revolve. So click the revolve. For example, we're going to create a cup. Once we created our profile for this, then let's put an access line, sorry, here, and then click the finish. Then, so once we go to our 3D, this is now our, for example, a cup. So that's how we'll use your Revolve. So you can use Revolve for creating a uh, if you don't create a ball, you can use a Revolve tool. So next is the sweep. So sweep, it's like follow me in SketchUp. So what you have to do. So for example, let's go back to level 1. Let's cancel. Create sweep. So sketch a path tayo. Since we don't have a reference, for example, we're going to create a molding. So since this is an open drawing area and we don't have walls yet, so let's sketch a path. But if you already have a wall, for example, you can actually pick a path na lang. So sketch a path, then example, so okay. So press finish once you create your path, and then edit profile. But if you already have a profile, for example, of a molding, you can just select a profile. So for now, since we don't have, let's edit profile. Or we can actually load a profile. So edit profile. Let's go to 3D view or self open view. So this is our center line. So if you go back to our 3D, so yan siya. So south, for example, this one. And then press finish and then finish. So once we go to our 3D, So this is now our, for example, our model. So that's how you use your sweep tool. So next to sweep is the swept blend. So swept blend, it's like a combination. It's a combination actually of a blend tool and sweep. So for the swept blend, so your base is a different shape than your top, or for your first shape is different for your last shape. So that's how you use the swept blend. So let's click the swept blend, then sketch a path. So for example, this spline. So let's go back to level 1. That's there. So if you could notice, there's a line here. This is your work plane for you to create your profile. So let's go to the 3D view. Then we can now create our profile. So for example, um, we're going to create a, okay, so let's finish. Then, sorry, let's press finish since we already done creating our path. So next is edit profile. So select profile 1. So this is the profile 1. So it's automatically uh, in profile 1. So once you create your profile, for example, pentagon or polygon, sorry. Okay. Then press finish. Then select profile 2, and then edit profile. So for example, the circle, then press finish. Then press finish again. So press finish. So that's how your sweep blend. So you can actually edit this one. Then path. You can actually move this. Sorry. There. Yeah. So you can move your profile. So if you want it uh, raised. Okay. So next is the void form. So void forms from the word itself, void. So if you want to create a void from the model that you did, you will use the void forms. So on the recent activity that I gave to you for the foundation, since there's a excess or there's an excess foundation or floor foundation, you can use the void forms to delete the excess foundation or the wall footing. So for example, so once you click this one, you have different voids. So you have void exclusion, void blend, void revolve, void sweep, and void swept blend. So you can use all of these in a single object. So for example, we're going to use it here. We just have to change the height. So let's start with the void exclusion. So let's go back to level 1. So let's click this and press OK. So if we go to 3D, so there, it's now subtracted from your model. So next is void blend. So let's go back to level 1. For example, we have pentagon here. Then once we're done creating our base, click the edit tab. So let's try the circle. And press OK. So once we go to our 3D, so that's the let's go for it. For example, that one. So that's the void blend. So if you could notice, once I put my cursor here, you will see the lines of the void blend. So next is the void revolve. So in void revolve, we will set first our, let's cancel this one. So let's go back to level 1, then set our reference plane. Let's go to the south. So we'll make our void here. So let's create, then void forms, void revolve. So let's try this one. And then place the axis, then finish. So let's go to level 1. So 3. So that's the uh, revolve. So once you move this, there, you can actually change the height. So next is the void sweep. So let's try sketch path. Okay, so let's click finish. What happened? Then edit profile. Let's say this one. And click finish. Then finish. Then we can move this out. So that's the void sweep. Then the last one is the void sweep blend. So let's go to the south, sketch a path, and click finish. And select profile 1, edit profile. Let's go to 3D. So let's try this. Then press finish. And select profile 2. And edit profile. You can make this a circle. Then press finish. And finish. Okay, let's try it again. On the south. sketch path, then finish. Uh, Select profile 1, edit profile, 3D, open view, create your profile, click finish, select profile 2, edit profile, create your profile, finish, click finish. Mhm. Let's try it again. Okay, let's cancel this. So let's try on our plan view. And select profile, edit profile 1, 3D view. There. So you can move this. Let's go to south. So once you finish, let's go to 3D. So that's how you will use the tools in um, modeling days.